by just being grateful to every one of you. We had a hard-fought primary, and thanks to partners like the service employees, like Democratic Party activists, like NARAL, like the volunteer firefighters, so many groups, Emily's List, Women's Campaign Fund. I've gotten out of practice from repeating the long list, and now the Teachers Union, the Sierra Club, League of Conservation Voters, the retired teachers, and many others have joined our team. And together, we're going to speak out. We're going to speak out about the three things that I talked about in the primary. That we need a voice that is progressive, that is consistent, and that is effective. We need someone who will stand up for justice and fairness. Fairness for Montgomery County, making sure we get our fair share on school construction funding, onto our transportation priorities, and that we also have thoughtful and progressive legislation considered. We're doing great on gun control. There always is more that we can do on public safety. We've made progress on domestic violence, as Michael said, finally, long overdue, but there's always more that we can do to keep our families safe, especially in their homes, where kids and spouses and boyfriends, girlfriends should not worry about whether they're going to be threatened or abused. The environment is the legacy that we leave for future generations, and I'm so happy that we have some young people here, and thank you for coming. I've got some young people who've been involved in my campaign, whether through BBYO or through Kids of Friends. That's so important. I started in politics young, many of you did. I've known Ken Ullman since he was a young Democrat, and that's start them early, get them inspired, and get them connected, and together we can all make a difference. There's so much more that I want to talk about, but I don't want to take the time because I want us to get back to the music. Smart budgeting, priorities, asking the good questions and making sure that taxpayer funds are spent wisely is part of the job. Yes, we're progressive. Yes, there is a lot of need out there, but we also have to make sure that our dollars are spent wisely, that we are making a difference in the most important places, supporting those who need our support, and yet also pinching those pennies pretty tightly so that we can continue to have a AAA bond rating, so we can continue to be the great place to live, work, and raise a family. Our schools have been ranked #1 in the country for 6 years running, right, Kumar?
I think 5.
5 years running? Well, 6. We're just going to be ahead of the, yeah, it's going to be 6. We have great schools, we have wonderful teachers and staff members. We need to continue that because no matter how well we're doing now, we can do better. We've got to make sure that we are including all students, all families, whether or not English is their first language, whether or not they were born here, whether or not they have resources for a tutor or private schools. They've got to, I'm K through 12 in our public schools. We've got to make sure that our school board is setting the right priorities, that the county council and the legislature and school board are working together as partners to make a difference, to make Montgomery County to live. So I'm excited to bring up Ken Ullman. Ken is the Howard County Executive. He was elected in 2006 as the youngest county executive in our state. As I said, I've known him since Young Dem days, and he has just had such an incredible record. 3 times Howard County has been named by Money Magazine as one of the top 10 places to live in our country, and that's because of Ken's leadership. He was the very first one to install green buildings as a priority. He's been a great environmental leader, the first in the whole state. And he has been called a tech titan by Washingtonian magazines and Washingtonian Magazine. And here in District 17, Rockville, Gaithersburg, the home of the high-tech corridor, having a tech titan as our incoming lieutenant governor is really important and very exciting. A lot of people think, well, Cheryl, you've got a Democratic district, you're fine. A couple of things. First off, I have a Republican opponent. I'm not losing sleep. I'm not trying to say Chicken Little, the sky is falling. I've got to maintain credibility here. But we're not taking anything for granted. You guys need to vote. Whether you live in District 17, whether you live elsewhere in the county or elsewhere in the state, we've got to make sure that Anthony Brown and Ken Ullman are at the helm, setting our priorities and running the state. We've got to make sure that Brian Frosch is our next Attorney General.
Yeah.
We've got to make sure, yeah, that's a good applause line. Go ahead, guys. We have to make sure that Ike Leggett and the Democrats nominated for council, including Sidney Katz, are helping run our county. And John Delaney, who has half my district, the northern part, Gaithersburg, and Chris Van Hollen in Rockville are both sent back with big margins, not just to make sure they win, but to make sure that Republicans don't even think about running them against them in the future, because we've got to work to take back Congress. We've got to try to have some strong, effective voices like the two of them helping set the tone for some policy and speaking out against the Tea Party and the right wing. So please make sure that you vote, that you get your friends and neighbors to vote, that they are thoughtful, that they are focused on electing Democrats, and that we are doing phone banking, we are doing Get Out the Vote. We've got 5 weeks of phone banks. I'd love to talk to any of you about volunteering. We're gonna make a difference, and it will be my pleasure to call him Lieutenant Governor. Please welcome to Rockville, Ken Ullman.